I remember the first time I heard about gentle parenting. All I could think to myself was, nope, not happening. If I ever have a kid, there's no way I'm gonna gentle parent them. What I didn't realize at that time was that I was misunderstanding gentle parenting for permissive parenting, and that gentle parenting is actually a parenting style that deeply aligns with my values. Fast forward a couple years later, here I am with my own 10-month-old baby who I've gentle parented since birth, and this is how. My name is Kirsten, and I spend my days processing grief and healing while staying kind, cozy, and courageous. And in this video, I'm going to do you a solid and let you in on my secret to gentle parenting. Before we get into the video, I'm just going to briefly break down gentle parenting. If you want to take a deeper dive into gentle parenting, I'd recommend checking out parenting coach Destiny Davis. I'll leave her info in the description below. But for now, we're going to understand gentle parenting as parenting with warmth and compassion, setting boundaries based on our child's developmental capacity, and practicing proactivity rather than reactivity. In a nutshell, gentle parenting is not responding to our kids from a place of trauma. Now, let's just be for real, that shit is hard. No matter how much you love your kid, working through a lifetime of trauma is no walk in the park, and the work never stops. But I'm here to tell you that it's possible, and I'm going to tell you exactly how. Don't worry, you don't have to wait till the end of this video. I'm going to tell you right now. The secret to gentle parenting is actually being gentle with yourself. And no, I don't mean letting yourself off the hook. I mean loving yourself unconditionally, treating yourself with respect, showing yourself understanding, offering yourself care, and granting yourself forgiveness. Parenting yourself the way you weren't always parented, the way you needed to be parented, the way you wanted to be parented, and simultaneously creating a framework to parent your child. What does this actually look like? Well, today I'm going to take you with me on an average day with my 10-month-old baby Kaia and talk through 10 ways that I use my secret to gentle parenting. Starting with our morning routine. For the first 4 months of my baby's life, I would try to wake up 30 minutes to an hour before her to go through my morning routine and start my days with some much needed me time. But I'm really not a morning person, and that took so much effort. So now I wake up when my baby wakes up and narrow my morning routine to 3 to 5 things that I can do with her during her first wake window, so I still get tiny pockets of me time. Some examples of this are brushing my teeth while she bites on her toothbrush teether, or placing her in the carrier for 30 minutes while I drink my coffee and tidy up the house. We spend this time in silence unless she initiates conversation. Allowing myself to have a slow morning also makes space for Kaia to have a slow morning. I don't really stress about her waking up at a specific time. She'll wake up when her body is ready to. I remind myself of my intention for Kaia's morning routine to start her day with a sense of order. She doesn't have to wake up at a specific time for me to achieve this. Instead, we can go through a particular order of activities as part of her morning routine. Going to the potty, drinking some milk, washing her face, lotioning her body, changing her clothes, doing her hair. Like her mama, Kaia is also not a morning person, and slow morning routines allow her to have the best start to her day. Moving on to breastfeeding, I've been thinking a lot recently about breastfeeding and motherhood, about the ways that the world sees women as machines instead of human beings. Women are expected to breastfeed their baby for 1 year minimum, without systems in place to support their breastfeeding journey, without consideration for whether women have the tools they need to successfully breastfeed. I've also been thinking about the gap in parenting between breastfeeding parents and their partners. How many partners truly understand the toll that breastfeeding can take? How many partners initiate ways that they can help bridge that gap in their parenting? I've been contemplating switching from breast milk to formula for the last month of my baby's first year. While I did want to breastfeed my baby for the first year, I remind myself of my intention for my baby and me to bond. If I'm tired of breastfeeding, is my baby really going to get a positive bonding experience? Or is she going to sense my frustration with the world's failure to support women? But until I decide whether to breastfeed or not, I think of ways that I can make my breastfeeding journey more enjoyable. Making sure to stay hydrated, breastfeeding without a top to reduce feeling constricted, collecting letdown so that I can get a break from breastfeeding once a day on weekdays and throughout the day on weekends. When I enjoy breastfeeding, my baby enjoys breastfeeding, and our breastfeeding sessions truly become about us bonding. I found that it's really important to find ways to accommodate my needs when parenting my baby girl. Yes, we do use cloth diapers, but we always have a backup of disposable diapers just in case we somehow run out of diapers or when we need to travel. We're not interested in washing diapers on vacation. Yes, I am teaching my baby sign language, but I'm only focusing on 15 words that are most relevant to her life right now, instead of worrying about teaching her every word I know and adding more to my plate. Yes, I do need to work when my baby is sleeping, so I can take advantage of that chunk of time, but I can also spare 15 minutes to make sure I've eaten a full meal. These are some examples of how I find ways to meet my needs while also meeting my parenting intentions. And when I practice considering my own needs every step of the way, I'm preparing for how to balance considering my baby's needs while also meeting my parenting intentions. Having disposable diapers on vacation means quicker changes in inconvenient locations. Focusing on fewer ASL signs helps my baby pick up vocabulary quickly, which makes her feel confident about her ability to communicate with me. And me being well fed impacts my breast milk supply, which helps make sure my baby is well fed as well. When thinking about a baby's needs, it can be so tempting to research the best possible way to fulfill their needs. But sometimes the best way may not be the best way for you. Sometimes the easiest way is the best way, because it's the way that's going to work even when you're at your lowest capacity, which is surprisingly often in parenthood. It used to take me 15 minutes to put our baby to sleep during the day in our bedroom. And then someone gave us dark brown curtains for our living room, and we realized that it takes us just 5 minutes of bouncing on an exercise ball in our darkened living room, and our baby is fast asleep. Since 4 months, our baby has been sleeping in her crib for day naps. But I started to notice that my partner wasn't being as consistent with our baby's day naps, and it was starting to affect her day naps with me. I reminded myself of my intention for my baby sleeping in the crib. It was so that I get the chance to complete work or house chores. But if I'm constantly trying to put my baby back to sleep when she wakes up, it's defeating the purpose. So we decided to just go back to our baby sleeping on us during the day and in the crib during the night, until my partner felt like he could be more consistent with day naps. This way, baby gets sleep and I get my shit done. Like sleep, starting solids is another baby need where I firmly believe easiest is best. When first researching starting solids, I remember seeing food guides that suggested 100 foods in the first 100 days. And my first reaction was, holy shit, this is going to take a lot of time and money. So I reminded myself of my intention for starting solids. I wanted my baby to try a variety of foods. I wanted to rule out allergens. And I wanted to make sure my baby was getting plenty of nutrients. So every month I picked 7 to 10 foods that fulfilled my 3 intentions. And I meal prepped so that my baby got to try each food 3 to 4 times. And on the days when my baby wasn't interested in eating more than a bite or two, I reminded myself that she needs to familiarize herself with food before she feels comfortable eating it. I encouraged her to play with the food or read books about the process of eating. We tried our best to create a pressure-free environment during mealtime, and by the third time she was served the food, she usually dove in. Like sleep and solids, potty training can be a really stressful parenting experience if we don't take intentional steps to be gentle with ourselves and our babies throughout the process. We started potty training our baby on her third day after birth, the very night we got back from the hospital. Since then, there have been weeks where she only uses 4 diapers a day, and there have been weeks where she refuses to pee or poo in the potty. It can feel really discouraging when your baby refuses to potty. You might wonder what you're doing wrong or get frustrated and wonder if potty training is really worth the time and effort. In times like these, I remind myself of my intention with potty training. It is to increase communication between my baby and me. When my baby poos and pees in her diaper, am I able to tell based on the sounds she makes? Then that seems like I'm listening when my baby communicates. My baby might just be choosing to test her limits. Is my baby pooing or peeing right before or right after putting her on the potty? Seems like she's still associating the potty with pees and poos like we taught her to. We just need to adjust her potty schedule to reflect her latest development. Our potty training shifts as she shifts. Potty training from birth is not meant to be a rigid structure, and it's important that we pause to consider changes in developmental stages, routines, or stress when setting expectations for ourselves or our baby. If we feel like our baby hasn't been peeing or pooing in the potty for a while, we can focus on maintaining a positive relationship between our baby and their potty. We can do fun exercises to release gas before going on the potty, play games and sneak in extra cuddles while on the potty, or include interesting toys for our baby to engage with while on the changing mat. I've mentioned in my previous videos that I'm very minimalist when it comes to toys, but I would say I'm actually minimalist when it comes to engagement activities in general. It's not that I don't think it's important for my baby to feel engaged. I just don't really take on the responsibility of entertaining her because I feel like that takes up so much mental and emotional energy and puts a lot of pressure onto your baby to engage with their toys in a specific way. Instead, I wait to see what my baby naturally gravitates towards in our home, and if it's safe, I give her the opportunity to engage with it. Kaia's new favorite thing is to stand on our couch and gaze outside the window at the neighborhood. She does this morning, afternoon, and night. I put our mattress at the bottom of the couch in case she falls off and let her window watch away. Kaia is also always drawn to the sound of our medicine bottles, so I cleaned one of them out and filled it with dried grains, and now it's one of her favorite shakers. If she is interested in things she can't really play with, like our pens or my bubble tea cup or my phone, I redirect her to her toys. Because we like to buy very few toys, we try to make sure the ones we do buy can be used for multiple purposes, like this pickler triangle. She loves using it to practice standing or crawling, but we also use it as a stand to hang items on it for her to explore. When I need Kaia to play independently while I do chores, I keep her in this baby-proofed play area we made for her, surrounded by pillows so that she can't crawl away and get into trouble. I usually leave a box with a couple toys for her to choose from, but she also loves just touching the different textured materials in this play area. If you're a new mom, figuring out how to fill your baby's days with enrichment can be an overwhelming process. So I made a cheat sheet to help you through that, which I will leave in the description box below. Parenting your baby when they're having a hard time is probably one of the hardest times to be a gentle parent. The smallest things can feel so impossible. In moments like these, I always ask myself, can I make this hard moment even 1% enjoyable for me and my baby? Can I make a fun song for when she needs to release gas? Can I affirm her frustration when she tries to dodge me wiping her face? Can I thank her every step of the way when she allows me to clean her nose or ears? Can I allow her to hold and explore her hair products and tools to keep her occupied as I do her hair? Can I give her fun toys to play with in her bathtub and the room to splash so she allows me to give her a bath? Can I give her extra cuddles and gentle massages to help her body settle down into her night routine? Taking the time to make hard moments more enjoyable is the cheat code to finding the joy in parenting. Babies have this incredible ability to feel joy in any moment, and it's so important that we give them those opportunities and allow ourselves to have those opportunities too. As beautiful as making hard moments joyful is, it's also exhausting. Parenting is exhausting. And one of the most important practices as a gentle parent to survive exhaustion is to prioritize resting and rejuvenating. We don't always have time to take naps, but it can be as simple as switching to comfy clothes and make our bodies feel loved, or sipping on our favorite drink, whatever we need to get through the day. And it's important that we plan to check in with ourselves multiple times a day to make sure we're sneaking in rest and rejuvenation whenever possible. When you're a parent, I know it can be tempting to dismiss your needs because they don't feel as important as the other 100 things you have to do that day. But I like to remind myself that I can't take care of my baby the way I want to if I'm not taken care of. Everything else can wait. But you know what can't wait? My sanity. If you're a new mom or soon to be mom and you're looking for a guide on how to take care of yourself postpartum, I made a self-care kit that I'll link down below that I used for my first 6 months after birth, and it really saved me. Part of self-care is making sure our individual needs are met, but part of it is also making sure our career needs and house needs are met, to name a few. Because being a mom is likely not the only role we embody, and it's important that these other roles also feel fulfilled for us to feel like whole human beings. But we've just added a whole human being to our life, and now we have to figure out how to get the things we used to get done with a fraction of the time and energy we used to have. So how the heck do we do it? Well, we got to be real smart about it. I like to do some chores when I'm with my baby, like easy meal prep, laundry, and tidying up. And for the things I can't do with my baby, like work, I wait to do during my partner's shift when he gets home from work. We have a schedule divided based on time spent with our baby, so when he comes home from work, he makes up the time he missed while he was at work. It took us a while to figure out how to make sure it was equally divided, because gender gaps in parenting are unfortunately very real, but I feel like we had it down once my baby turned 10 months. In men and women relationships, it's so important that men consider the invisible labor that goes into parenting a child. And women feel like they have the space to ask for time and space away from their baby that they need and deserve. If you don't have a partner, finishing work and chores is often a do it when the baby is sleeping kind of deal, if your baby manages to sleep. But if possible, it's so important that you see if you can find childcare support. Doesn't have to be daycare, even just a family member or friend looking after your baby for a few hours a couple of times a week to give you a break. Accept help whenever you can. We are not meant to be raising children alone. And that is 10 ways that I am gentle with myself and by extension with my 10-month-old. I really hope watching this video gave you a new perspective on how you can invite gentleness into your parenting. If you're interested in following my daughters and my journey for the past 10 months, you can check out some of these videos as well. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!